The update we have secretly been waiting for has finally dropped. Changes to Aztec. Wait, that was a mistake. I mean the M4A1-S NERF. The M4A1, since its price drop and damage increase, has been very dominant in casual and professional CSGO matches. The battle between these two rifles has flip-flopped many times, and once again, a nerf has been rolled out to the dominant rifle. Shout out to all of those who purchased A4s preparing for this moment, but here is why you should really be considering selling as soon as you can. The M4A1 is still at $2,900 and the M4A4 is still at $3,100. The damage numbers are the same, reload speed is the same, no changes to tracers. The only change was an ammo decrease. The M4A1 now has 20 bullets per magazine and 80 in reserve. Compare that to the pre-patch version of 25 in the magazine, 75 in reserve. It appears the total ammunition is identical, you're just losing out on 5 bullets per mag. While insignificant upon first glance, there's various scenarios where this would come into play. Holding an angle that someone is jiggle peeking, spraying through walls, spraying through smokes, and the difference between a 2 to 3 kill sight hold and a 3 to 4 kill sight hold. On the flip side, this is what needs to be considered. Will the 5 bullet difference outweigh the downsides of the current M4A4? When playing matchmaking or face-it pugs, teamwork is an option, so we will leave that for the pro play section. Individually, I think we can all agree that the A1 is the easier gun to use. Close range, the M4A1 has a faster time to kill, so when you're holding a sight, etc., it does very well. Long range, the M4A1 will kill faster due to damage drop-off, making it very viable on a map like Dust 2 or holding outside on Nuke. Both have their strengths and weaknesses based on positioning, but what about the user itself? With no damage or recoil changes, the M4A1 is an absolute beamer compared to the A4. Not to say that the A4 has a very robust and hard to learn recoil pattern, but compared to the A1, they're not even close. For your average player, placing shots with the A1, randomly spraying long angles hoping something lands, and accuracy when moving is better. At a lower level, where sprays are missed, dry peeking into an op is a right, not a privilege, and counter-strafing is an afterthought. There's absolutely no reason for someone at this level to pick up an M4A4. And because everyone is playing as individuals, due to the M4A1 being $200 cheaper, you'll have more opportunities to buy without being forced to use a FAMAS or skip out on utility that you would happily waste in the first 30 seconds of the round. It's fair to say that the M4A1 still wins the casual community, but as we know, there is a very strong connection between the pro scene and your average Counter-Strike fan. Anything they do will be copied. So what are the pros going to do? Despite participating in low-level competition, I do not have a definitive answer as to what pros will prefer. I bet the pros don't even know what they want to do yet. One thing is certain, we will still be seeing A1s on the map. On a pro level, here is where the M4A4 increase will come from. Star players and sight anchors. For your star player, you want him to use the best weapon possible, even if it can damage your team's economy. One thing that the M4A4 has always been better at is fights against AKs. Both of the M4s on the CT side are one headshot, one body shot for a kill. Due to the terrorist side rifle, the AK-47 being one-shot headshot, you will see head-to-head fights where the CT player gets the dink but dies to an AK one-tap. Using the M4A4, you will win more of these fights as your second bullet comes faster, and when you consider the time that these players put in to maintain their aim, this will come into play. You want your star player to drop 50 kills every game. You want your sight anchor to win his first fight and delay for rotations. There is a legitimate use case for the M4A4, and I do expect to see at least one per team going forward. But this may depend on the map and the team. Inferno was the first map that came to mind. Tight choke points, heavy utility usage, and many late round executes. What has made the M4A1 so dominant on a pro level is the ability to spray through smokes without showing tracers. This way the opponent can't just track you through the smoke and spray where you're shooting from. On a map like Inferno, where there's so many angles that commonly get smoked off, having a weapon that you can freely spray through the smoke to do damage or get kills is a game changer. The Antwerp Major, our most recent major, had an unbelievable amount of smoke kills as a direct result from this. Not only are there no tracers, but the M4A1 is a very quiet gun. Playing in an arena, hectic comms, it all comes together to create this.
Simple step up when they need him, when a bullet, no problem!
There is a legitimate pro-level use for using the A1 in rat spots and using your teammates as bait. It's hard to determine where you're getting shot from when the shots are so quiet and there are no tracers showing you which direction the shots are coming from. We will have to see the matches going forward, but the characteristics of the silenced M4A1 may give more opportunities for kills than the slightly more powerful, yet more expensive M4A4 variant. And this was the daunting part of the video. Pro-level economy is unbelievably tricky to understand as it varies on the team, scoreline, map, and various other factors. First buy round for Navi on the CT side, they decided to go with 5 M4A1s. Boomich is the only player with full utility, Bit only a smoke, Electronic 2 flashes and a smoke, Simple a grenade, smoke, and head armor, Perfecto a molly, smoke, and flash. Due to the third round potentially being a bonus round, which it kind of was as Brokey was using a Mac 10, that's why some of these players decided to go with head armor. If these players wanted to use M4A4s instead, either the investment in the previous round with upgraded pistols would have turned it to a full eco, or sacrifices would have to be made. Bits would be fine, Electronic would have to sacrifice a flash, Simple would have to sacrifice either a piece of utility or head armor, Boomich would have to sacrifice a piece of utility or head armor, and Perfecto would have to sacrifice a flash. In the modern era of Counter-Strike, utility plays a massive role, revolutionized by Astralis during their era. Sacrificing utility has the potential to completely change a round. Where we stand today, if you lose pistol, you upgrade into second round depending on the players alive and if the bomb was planted or not. Either second round full forces become more common, or teams start doing full eco second round so they can buy an M4A4 with adequate utility. Then we get to a team like Virtus Pro and Twitch chat's favorite meme, JAME. VP is an anomaly to a degree, as giving JAME an op is basically their entire game plan. It's not uncommon for JAME to get an op dropped to him third round. That leaves one player with an MP9 or a Deagle. It's no secret economy is massive to a team like VP, especially when you see clips like this.
There was a question about my economy binds that I have on my numpad, and I said that basically I have these binds which are tracking enemies' economy, which I'm counting during the game.
Do you really think a team like VP will switch over to M4A4s, taking potential ops away from JAME? It's not gonna happen. Whatever team JAME is on, every other player will be using A1s. Now this is a very long-winded discussion about some simple Counter-Strike concepts, but ask yourself this: how many rounds would be won from the M4A4 being able to multi-frag easier, compared to how many rounds will be won from having an extra op in play or a larger arsenal of utility? I'm not a pro player, I don't have the answer for you, but it's fair to say the pro scene will not be completely dismissing the A1-S just because 5 bullets were removed. Once again, congratulations to those holding A4s waiting for this day. The market has absolutely exploded, with certain skins doubling within a few hours. But here's the concern. As we just went through, I don't believe the usage for the M4A4 will increase dramatically, and it's very possible, in my opinion, that the M4A1 maintains its spot as the dominant CT rifle. So are these prices warranted? I think this is just massive FOMO. The community was waiting for an A1 nerf, and we got it. But it almost feels like people are tricking themselves into believing the update was bigger than it actually was. It's not like every single person forgot about the A4, and now it's the first time in years it's actually viable. People still use it. pros even use the A4. There's going to be a usage increase, but 2x or higher by the time this video comes out? I don't believe it. We also need to look at how people purchase and sell skins these days. Most transactions for higher end items these days are done through Buff 163. For years now, we have dealt with the 7-day trade hold, and we could see what that does to short-term spikes. Our infamous little stupid banana foil is a great example of this. The stupid banana foil was manipulated last summer hype, increasing by a ridiculous amount. The prices did decline relatively quick, but it didn't return to normal prices until the 7-day trade hold on the stickers had run out. After the 7, but really 8-day period, prices instantly crashed as people flooded the market taking whatever profit they could get. It looks like we're going to see that again. The hundreds of A4s, potentially thousands of A4s, purchased within the first few hours of the update will be unleashed on the market within a week. When those skins are tradable again, they will be dumped on Buff 163 for profit. Prices will crash, and in turn, people will look for alternative ways to sell, like the Steam market. Eventually, those prices will crash as well. Short-term spikes like these are allowed to spiral out of control due to the trade hold, and this recent A4 hype will be no exception. Are you happy with your profit? Consider selling before those who bought hundreds of your exact skin dump them on your head. There is no definitive conclusion that can be drawn at this point in time. We will need to see CT rifle usage for the next major. We will need to see if casuals start switching. We will need to see how high A4 prices go and how low A1 prices go. At this point in time, I see this as ridiculous FOMO and will be selling a few A4 skins I don't use, but I will not be selling any of my play skins, A1 or A4. I see this as a very solid update from Valve, as I believe CT rifles in a perfect world would see a 50-50 split. But when looking at the ease of use for casuals and the strategic use for professionals, I would be surprised if we actually see a meta shift. I'm even more surprised to see how insane this hype has been. In no way do I believe what I'm seeing is sustainable.